Welcome to reality. You're now on the Code of Mind channel. Before we go down the rabbit hole, let's understand who was truly behind this story. There was already an analysis of Alice on the channel, but I want to go deeper into this topic because it is incredibly powerful. The author of this tale was Charles Lutwidge Dodgson, better known as Lewis Carroll. But the name is not what matters. What matters is who he was within the real matrix of the 19th century. Dodgson was a brilliant mathematician and logician at Oxford University. He lived in an era when Newtonian physics was considered unshakable, like a rock. But as a mathematician, he worked with things that at the time seemed like madness: non-Euclidean geometry and symbolic logic. Dodgson studied systems where parallel lines intersect and where time can change direction. Although the term quantum mechanics officially appeared only in the early 20th century, Dodgson, thanks to his mathematical genius, anticipated its principles 50 years before they were discovered. He understood that our world is not a set of solid objects, but a logical structure, a code that behaves in extremely strange ways if you look under the hood. Why did he hide behind a fairy tale? At that time, such ideas could get you ridiculed in the scientific community, so he chose the form of absurdity. Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass are encrypted textbooks on quantum logic. He knew about the observer effect, when a particle changes under observation. He understood the uncertainty principle. He saw that space is not emptiness, but a discrete grid, like a chessboard. Dodgson foresaw that our reality is just one layer of the multiverse. He created Alice as an observer, whom he sent deep into the system to test its laws. Everything begins on a sunny afternoon. Alice sits under an apple tree. Why there? This is the starting point of classical physics. It was here that the apple fell on Newton's head, creating the illusion that the world is understandable and predictable. But for Alice, this world falls asleep. A collapse begins, a transition from Newton's world into the quantum mirror world, where apples do not fall and the laws of physics are written in real time. Sleep here is not shut down, it is a hack. When Alice closed her eyes, she disconnected from the matrix of routine and connected to the direct stream of the universe. The apple no longer falls down, now it falls inward. The moment she follows the white rabbit, the ground disappears. Alice falls into a tunnel, what in quantum terms would be called a hyperspace passage, a fall through data. She falls so slowly that time feels like stretched gum. The walls of the tunnel are filled with shelves and cabinets. This is not furniture, this is an archive of all possible events. Each jar is a version of her destiny that she passes by. She is not falling. She is floating through an infinite library of possibilities, the elixir of scale. In a hall of locked doors, she finds a bottle. One sip, and space begins to distort. Alice grows to the size of stars, and then shrinks to the size of an atom. Why? Because in this tunnel there is no size. There is only frequency. Alice changes her density, trying to fit through a tiny door behind the curtain. But her mind cannot stabilize. Tears become an ocean. When she cries, she creates an entire sea. In the quantum world, your emotion instantly becomes matter. She almost drowns in her own tears because she does not yet understand. Everything you feel immediately becomes your world. Alice is stuck in quantum instability. She is a particle that cannot decide whether to be a giant or a grain of sand. And until she finds balance within herself, the tunnel will keep spinning her through endless variations of size. Emerging from the tunnel, Alice enters a world where time is no longer a background. It becomes a character. Here she meets two figures representing the extremes of our reality. The white rabbit, dressed in a vest holding a watch. He is not just a nervous animal. He is the symbol of linear time, the ticking that makes us believe in past and future. Why does he carry a watch? In a quantum world where everything exists now, time becomes a control mechanism. The rabbit constantly says, "I'm late," creating artificial panic. His purpose is to pull Alice deeper into events so she never stops. Because the moment she stops chasing time, she would realize something. She is not moving anywhere. The world is just scenery. The rabbit is our constant stress, the force that prevents us from seeing eternity behind movement. At the Mad Hatter's table, Alice enters a zone where time has been broken. Time is offended. The Hatter says time is not it, time is he. And if you fall out of alignment with him, he will stop the clock. 5 p.m. Tea time. Frozen forever. In physics, this is a quantum loop. Infinite repetition. They keep switching seats, using new cups, because there is no tomorrow. There is only eternal now. Time stretches, compresses, loops. The Hatter and the March Hare are prisoners of the moment. They show Alice, if you do not control time, time traps you in repetition. The tea party never ends until Alice realizes time is a setting of the mind. The rabbit pulls into the future that doesn't exist. The Hatter traps in the past that won't leave. Alice stands in between trying to understand. Time is not a prison, it is a tool. The blue caterpillar, guardian of states and zero code. Sitting in smoke, appearing indifferent but actually an archivist of transformation. Superposition. The caterpillar exists between states. Not a caterpillar, not yet a butterfly. Pure potential. Who are you? This is not curiosity. In the quantum world, the answer defines reality. If you say, I am a girl, I am a name, I am a role, you lock yourself into the matrix. But the caterpillar knows you are what changes. Identity is a limitation. If you are not attached to form, you can change your scale at will. The smoke rings symbolize cycles, flexibility of code, and then comes the cat. If the caterpillar is transition, the cat is presence. He says, we're all mad here. In physics language, there is no stable logic here. Quantum smile. The cat demonstrates, reality is information, not matter. He appears in parts, head, body, tail, in different places at once. This is a distributed wave function. The smile without the cat, this is Carroll's deepest paradox. The cat disappears, but its joy and information remain. Physicists call this the quantum Cheshire Cat, a phenomenon where the properties of a particle, its smile, separate from the particle itself. He shows Alice, the world is a hologram, the body is just a perception glitch, and consciousness and the smile is the only thing that is real. The caterpillar teaches Alice to be no one in order to become anyone, and the Cheshire Cat proves that the entire world is just flickering data. If you stop believing in the solidity of walls, you will be able to pass through them, just like he does. Alice's encounter with Tweedledum and Tweedledee is not just meeting two noisy twins. It is an encounter with the phenomenon of quantum entanglement, which Einstein himself called spooky action at a distance. They look like copies of each other, but in the looking-glass world they are one system. In quantum physics, if two particles are entangled, they stop being separate objects. Whatever you do to one, the other instantly, faster than light, responds and changes its state. If Tweedledum decides to fight, Tweedledee is already in position. They have no personal space, they have shared thoughts, shared emotions, shared reactions. They are a living example that everything in the universe is connected by invisible threads. Even if separated by an entire galaxy, their connection remains absolute. Their absurd quarrel over a broken rattle is a metaphor for energy exchange. They constantly oscillate, shifting from one state to another, from shouting to dancing, from conflict to reconciliation. This is the eternal movement between plus and minus. In the quantum library, this means energy never disappears. It only transforms. The twins show Alice. There is no you and me here. There is only interaction. Notice how they move. They mirror each other. This reflects a deeper truth. Your environment is entangled with you. Your friends, enemies, and strangers. They are the Tweedledum and Tweedledee of your life. Change your internal settings and the world, your twin, changes instantly. They teach Alice that loneliness is an illusion of old physics. In the looking-glass world, everything is entangled. We are part of a vast network where every breath of one echoes in the life of another. When Alice enters the shop run by the sheep, she steps into the heart of quantum chaos. This is a place where matter behaves like a spoiled child refusing to follow rules when observed. Alice tries to look at items on the shelves, but something impossible happens. The moment she focuses on an object, it moves to another shelf or disappears completely. In physics, this is called the collapse of the wave function. Before observation, everything exists at once, a superposition of possibilities. But the moment an observer appears and tries to measure reality, the system reacts. Reality collapses, but never stays fixed. The attempt to lock reality forces it to change right before your eyes. The key moment. Alice reaches out with money, her energy, expecting to receive the object. But the sheep refuses. "I don't hand things to you. Go and take it yourself." Matrix interpretation. This is an initiation point. In the quantum world, you cannot be a passive consumer. You cannot buy a result. The sheep is saying, move, act, choose. As long as you stand still and wait, you are just a user. The sheep is a filter that removes passive observers. It forces you out of comfort and into action. If you don't move toward your goal yourself, the shelves will always remain empty. Chessboard. Quantization. The entire landscape is divided into squares. In matrix terms, a rendering grid. You cannot move smoothly. You make quantum jumps. Cross a stream, and you are already in another state, another location with different rules. Space is discrete. It consists of minimal units, pixels of reality, the White Queen, retrocausality. She is a system glitch. She lives backwards. Her scream happens before the needle touches her finger. This is a direct description of quantum physics, where particles can move backward in time. The future can influence the present. If you feel an event approaching, it means at the level of code it has already happened. Humpty Dumpty, administrator of meaning. He sits on a wall, on the edge between order and collapse. He declares, "Words mean exactly what I choose them to mean." Matrix interpretation. In programming, the name of a variable defines its function. How you name your experience determines how it manifests. Humpty teaches Alice, power belongs to the one who names. His inevitable fall is the symbol of entropy. A system built on rigid identity and control will eventually collapse. The dream of the Black King, the primary observer. Alice faces the ultimate question. You are just a character in his dream. If he wakes up, you disappear. Who is observing this universe? Who is the central processor holding reality together? If we are projections, is there a way out? Alice wakes up. Same tree, same noon. But Newton's world is dead to her. She knows the truth. The apple did not fall because of gravity. It fell because her consciousness was ready to receive the signal. The final conclusion. We are all trapped in the looking glass as long as we believe we are pawns. But the matrix is not a prison. It is a training system. The dream of the Black King is a reminder. If you do not become aware, you remain part of someone else's script. The only way not to disappear when the king wakes up is to wake up before him. To become the queen means to step out of automatic programming, to stop being a passive observer staring at empty shelves, and to become the operator who writes their own code, names reality, and makes deliberate moves on the chessboard of life. Thank you for being with me on this channel. I wish you the best possible branch of reality. Subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Take care.